From different parts of Kenya, a live studio audience is about to shoot unscripted questions. This is Agenda Kenya with Jason Nyantino. On Agenda Kenya tonight, Kamotho Waiganjo, Commission for the Implementation of the Constitution, CIC, Kipchumba Murkomen, lawyer and political analyst, and Kenneth Masime, Chairman Steering Committee, Elections Observation Group, ELOG. A warm welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Agenda Kenya, your award-winning talk show. Tonight on this show, we focus on how prepared we are as a country for the March 4th, 2013 general election. In my audience tonight, I've got people coming in from Mombasa County, Kajiado County, and of course, Nairobi County. Welcome aboard. Our first question is from Desma Tunya, who is a student.
I'm Desma Tunya from Kenyatta University. The question goes, there is much hype about the biometric voter registration. Is it the silver bullet that will be used to stop rigging and the other election malpractices?
Thank you, Desma. Kamotho.
Yes, well, the BVR system is just part of the story of what makes a free and fair election. And I think sometimes we make too much of systems in what ensures an election is a credible election. What the BVR system is about a credible register. And that is just the beginning of a free and fair election. A free and fair election are about the other systems, about whether people double vote, not so much double vote, whether there is stuffing of ballots, whether there is abuse of the campaign season, where there is corruption in the process of voter bribery. Those things are not going to be stopped by BVR. What BVR will guarantee us is a credible register of electors. That is a good beginning. But if we assume that as long as we have a credible register of electors, we have resolved our issue on elections, I think we'll be deceiving ourselves. But it is a good beginning.
All right. Kipchumba, there's been much talk about this BVR, relating from Desma's question. It's almost the magic bullet in this coming election. Is that true? And what do you think are the demerits of this system? Because that conversation is not coming out well.
You remember the Curricular Commission questioned the register and the credibility of the register. And I think, if we want to get credible elections, the process is as good as the product. And I think I agree with the commissioner that it's not like the final solution, but it's a good beginning. And if we start well, we are likely to finish well. And the good thing, and I'm really impressed the way the commission, the IEBC, was seriously taking the question of registration of the voters, because, if we don't, it's an important aspect in terms of showing the green lights if we are moving to the right direction. And I could not take anything less than the BVR system, because then perceptionally, Kenyans will start beginning to say that rigging has begun. Remember, in 2007, the reason why we moved step by step, we started with the appointment of the commissioners. So anything that leads to the final results, I don't think there is only one magic bullet. There are many bullets. Okay. This is just one of those bullets, so because the enemy comes in more than 7 forms. So we have to have...
Okay. Thank you. Masime, there are countries which have used the BVR system. I'll mention Congo, there's Ghana, and many others. Yes. And one of the things that is coming out in terms of the demerits of this system is equipment malfunction, and that it also relies on internet. Could you just take us through what are the demerits of this BVR system so that people can understand what we are talking about?
Yeah, I agree with my colleagues that this is just one aspect of making elections free and fair. And BVR is technology. Technology has to have a human interface. So we will need to train people on how to properly use it. If you don't train people properly, it will mean they will misuse the equipment that it will face. You need to be very diligent in using it. For instance, after fingerprinting, for example, one person, you need to wipe the thing and make sure that it is fresh for the next person. In this country, we have people who engage in physical labor, for instance, and their fingerprints are not that clear. You have to contend with that. Issues of even the weather and the temperature. Some of our places are very hot and humid. Yes. You have to contend with that. Even the very fact of physically moving the product around, an El Nino has been predicted. So there are challenges that it introduces that are not associated with the other system. So we have to factor in all these. It's just technology. The issue is, if you use it properly, it will help.
Mr. Masimo, what do you foresee? Because we're talking about weather, you're talking about internet. You know, those are variables we cannot control per se. Yes. What do you foresee with this system that is going to be used?
It's contingency planning and preparation. The Commission has to put in place measures that will help them mitigate all these factors to be able to successfully use the equipment.
Okay.
Yes.
From your experience in your public service, you know, you've been a scholar. Is there a country that has used BVR and elections have been free and fair? Because in Congo, in November 2011, they used BVR, but there were serious complaints about the result. You know, do you know of a country that has successfully used this system?
I think Ghana. Ghana is the best example in the continent in terms of using BVR system. And remember that their last elections was one of the credible elections in the continent. I think there's no need going for outside Africa. If we have a neighbor who is doing well, I think it's a better example for us to use. That is why you saw that all the discussion last time about BVR was about Ghana. The other problem with technology is what we witnessed in the referendum. You remember as the results were trickling in, as soon as there was uploading of the results, and suddenly the figures change. I remember, should it happen that, for example, in the first elections, and even if there is a runoff, you know, the elections will be so close. Now, if it becomes so close, and then, you know, results are coming in, and the whole country is watching, and the public, it's not just preparing and training the people who are going to use it, it's also preparing the public to appreciate that when the results come in, they could come in, I mean, ultimately, for example, in the last elections, that technology can lead us to certain things that look different from what we are used to. Okay. And if they happen, we should not lead to a situation where you can cause panic and anxiety.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, quickly, please.
The reason why elections are successful in places that use BVR is not because of BVR. The reason why elections were good in Ghana is because there's trust in the commission, there's trust in the institution, there is a commitment by citizens to have a free and fair election, there's a culture of respecting the rule of law. It is not BVR. Okay. It was the other software and the other infrastructure that support the election process.
Actually, what I know about the Ghana experience is there was also a problem actually about tallying for those of us who followed the process. And the chairman of the Electoral Commission stuck to his feet. And they actually ordered for a revote in one of the districts that was in contention. So I think credibility of the commission is critical. I'll take my next question from Dr. Koske John, who is a vet surgeon. John.
Yeah, thank you very much. I would wish to know what structures have been put in place to ensure that the mechanical breakdowns, the software breakdowns, as well as the internet hacking by the cyber pirates, yeah? What structures are there in place to ensure that this actually doesn't happen?
Oh, thank you. I don't know who is the expert on the panel, but Masime, you've gone around the world observing elections.
Yes. I would say that question would have been better directed to the IBC.
Yeah, they're watching the show.
Yes, so but on the side of us like observers, what we will do is to undertake integrity test on the list to make sure that there are no integrity problems with it. For instance, you can do a computer test on the list and make sure that you don't have like old people who are like 130 years old being in the list. You can also take the list, the voters list, and also go out to the public and look for individuals who are supposed to be in the list and confirm that they're actually individuals existing by those names and particulars. Or alternatively, you can go to the public, get the individuals and come back to the list and confirm that they're there. So from the observer's point of view, you can do an audit of the register to confirm that really it's authentic.
Yeah, I think Koske's fears are real because I know that recently, I think sometime early in the year, last year, the government websites were hacked by a certain gentleman. And I also remember, the IBC is not here to respond to this, but I also remember that the test constituencies which were using BVR, which were about 15 or 16, there was a case, I think in Nyeri, where these kits, the BVR kits, were kind of tampered with. So I think these are genuine fears, and these are conversations the country needs to have. Can we hear from the audience? I'll start from my extreme left, the lady on the second row. Your name, comment, or question, please.
I'm Valerie Omamu from Kenyatta University. My focus mainly is on the internet availability in remote areas like Chemalingot in East Pokot, Turkana areas, the refugee camps. These places, even the normal communication, Safaricom and Airtel network is not available. How assured are Kenyans that during the elections, these places will be covered with the new systems? And how assured are we that it won't lead to violence again? Because mostly when the systems fail, there's a communication breakdown, information breakdown, and this is what led to the violence we experienced the last election year.
Thank you, Valerie. I can take one more from this side now. Yeah, the gentleman right in the second row. Your name, please.
My name is Mohammed. I'm from Mombasa County. My question is that are we sure that 2 weeks are enough to train the staff to use the BVR kits?
Thank you for that. I think Kipchumba, you'll take the, which is your county, by the way?
Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Are you running for a seat?
Yes.
So you're the right person. Which seat are you running for?
I am running for Senator of Elgeyo Marakwet.
Senator Elgeyo. So are you worried about Valerie's question? Because that should worry you.
You know, the question from Valerie is general use of technology. It's not just necessarily the BVR system, the registration, but also transmission of results. I think we've consistently been told that the transmission system will use such technology as mobile technology. So if they can use satellite dishes or whatever technology, they can be able to do that. But I'm worried. I am really worried because there is a possibility that with this kind of technology, those who have money and ability to manipulate the system may use it. And I'll go back to what Commissioner talked about earlier. My biggest concern is not so much of the technology itself. I'm more worried about the individuals who are going to run that technology. Okay. So we must trust the people who are going to run the system much more than the technology, because sometimes you can feed it if there's a problem, you can pause and rectify the problem, but you have to trust the people who are running the system.
Thank you. Time for a break now, but we'll be right back. Don't go away.